you can't do that.
Well, let's see. There's 2 slots left after we put ourselves.
I think I'm going to go with staying power. People who've been around since our era and are still doing it.
Good.
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 Mythical.
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 Mythical morning. It is true that food is something that we keep going back to on a lot of episodes of Good Mythical Morning. And now with this children's book, Spaghetti Headed Chicken Fingers, it wasn't what we set out to do.
Yeah, I think that we've always been, just as creators, you're creating in the context of the community that's watching what you're doing. And so we're doing so many different things on Good Mythical Morning, you start to learn the things that the audience is resonating with. And we like food, especially me. I love it.
I'm in a habit of eating food.
He does eat it.
I'm not opposed to food.
But I think it was more of a response to the audience of like, oh, they want to see us talk about food. They want to see us rank food. And so that became a part of our brand. And then when our fans who have been with us for so long started having kids, they're like, well, we should do something for them. Let's write a children's book. And obviously, a lot of kids are picky. A lot of kids are picky, like this grown-up kid. And so we knew that this would be something that parents could relate to. Oh man, definitely some sort of processed food. All the stuff that I ate growing up.
I think you would be a preserved sausage.
Yeah.
No, that's not all that you ate. I think that would be the cumulative effect of everything you ate.
Yeah, I ate a lot of prepackaged, very convenient food, child of the 80s and 90s. I would be definitely something that you did not have to cook, something that you did not have to refrigerate it, and something that was individually wrapped that my mom could put in my lunch and would be fine at noon.
I would be very mushy because I would be a combination of peanut butter and chocolate pudding. Sounds good, I think. That is also my answer for now. I have not changed in my culinary predilections. They still center around chocolate pudding and peanut butter.
I think I would be beans, not just because I like them. I do like them. But because of the brand that I have built around liking them, which is even more pronounced than the reality.
Like if you ask my mom, how does Rhett feel about beans? She'd be like, he likes them. But she wouldn't be like, he's got a reputation for really loving beans.
Yeah. On one hand, it's about the picky eating, but I think another big influence was just reading stories to our kids. We like to read stories where we embody the characters, have an opportunity as a parent to do voices, maybe sing a couple of songs. So we knew we wanted to incorporate that into the experience we were giving to other parents and their kids. Get them to sing, get them to do voices, get it to be a little out there.
Picking the subject matter of picky eating wasn't just because it was true to Link's experience, but I mean, especially, I think, ironically, my kids are pickier than Link's kids. I mean, there was a time when my youngest son would eat a lot of buttered spaghetti. The buttered noodles was something that we knew we could get him to eat. So it wasn't as extreme as Limo and Safi, the characters in the book, but it was certainly inspired by that thing that happens with parents where they're like, the only way that I can have my kid eat right now without an emotional breakdown is if I give them the thing I know they will eat. So that's something that we've dealt with for sure.
We definitely do put ourselves out there. And by out there, we mean way out there. Good Mythical Morning, because it's a daily show and we've done so many of them, it's just hard to hide. I don't think we would be doing it all these years and seasons and episodes later if it was completely different than who we were as real people. But because we're fill that time every day with our just being ourselves, I think that was the acceptance was the message that kind of came across that then we embodied after the fact. And so, yeah, we like to champion being curious and, having fun with trying things. Even if something fails, there's fun in giving it a shot.
And we did so much content in the early days that was more curated, like you would. I mean, not only were we making less content, but we were also editing it and like making, you cared about how you came across. When you start doing something like GMM, which is so much content and we don't edit it and we just see it when it shows up on the internet, we've seen ourselves in so many compromising situations. Like, oh, I don't like the way I look there. I don't like the way I sound there. I don't like what I said there. We live with that. And if suddenly we were constantly judging every single thing that we did and being critical, we would never have made as much content as we have. So I would just say it's easier it's scary, but once it's out there, once your weird self is out there for people to see, it's actually, you know what? It's not that bad.
Not that bad. I think our priority is certainly continuing to evolve Good Mythical Morning in a way that remains consistent but also fresh for mythical beasts who watch every day, and also fresh for us. You know, we want the questions that we're asking on episodes are ones that we are as involved in ever in formulating, so that we remain very much engaged, and because we know that that comes through to the audience. So prioritizing Good Mythical Morning is definitely where our heads are at, but that doesn't mean that we don't have other big ideas that we've been cooking up behind the scenes, but we're not quite ready to announce.
Yeah, so we've definitely been working on something that we would call a passion project, that is, you know, much more related to something that we just had on our minds and our hearts that had to get out there and be created and put into the world. We'll see what happens with it. But that is something that, yeah, the specifics are, they're at TBD. They're to be announced, or TBA.
Because
they are to be determined. We'd already determined them.
We've already
made most of it.
Yep.
There's an interesting give and take between the writing and then the illustrating of the world that we created, right? We didn't really specify. And we let Erica Salcedo kind of go with what she had in mind. And I definitely noticed what we might call the ambiguity a little bit in some of the characterizations, and we were like, I think that's a good thing. Let's roll with that and be less definitive and less deterministic in that way, and kind of let people see what they want to see in the characters.
Yeah, so we embrace it as a strong maybe.
Ready for the lightning round?
Yeah, I hate lightning rounds. I'm such a slow thinker.
Well, let's see how it goes. Chicken fingers. Oh, that is tough.
Southern California.
Why not both? I think I got to go with not eating peanut butter. I've had a lot. The inconvenience factor on peanut butter skin, I just don't want to imagine what that would be like to live with.
I know some good almond butters. I'll make it work.
That feels like a cheat, but okay.
Grilled cheese ramen is second only to
In-N-Out mac and cheese? Is that what it was? Oh no, was it
orange chicken parm?
Orange chicken parm. Those are all really good. I think it was the blood tacos.
Yeah.
The pork blood tacos.
Definitely.
Or the bile cheesecake.
That was second to the pork blood tacos.
I mean, we're at the bottom of the barrel with both of them.
Because we did go back and rank them.
Well, you've been dipping
cottage cheese,
some salt and pepper or something?
and eggs.
I've been putting olive oil in my smoothies. Lionel Richie. I think you've given up on Lionel.
Casey Musgrave's dog.
Oh.
I believe his name is Pepper.
Do you want Casey to be there as well?
Yeah. She's going to need to be there too, you know, just to handle her dog. I'm eating something.
Oh, no, you can't do that.
Well, let's see. There's 2 slots left after we put ourselves.
We have to include Hank and John in this. I think I'm going to go with staying power. People who've been around since our era and are still doing it.
Rosanna Pansino.
Yeah.
We wish her well in her recovery.
Yes, get well soon.
Just look at what we do on a daily basis. Does this scream leaving a legacy?
That's tough when you don't plan on stopping doing it, you know?
Well, when it comes to the things that we've created, I think one of the things that I've learned is that your legacy is probably not something you have an incredible amount of control over, because I think if you go back to the beginning of our career, we would have been like, oh, we're going to use this YouTube thing so we can become filmmakers and we had kind of a vision for what it was that we wanted to do. And when you try to create in the context of making a business, like making it your living, a lot of times you end up making things that people will respond to. And so I think in a lot of ways, our process has become like, where does what we want to create overlap with what people want us to create? And there's a little bit of a give and take in that. And in some ways, I think that that's our legacy, you know, is creating things in the context of the community that has gravitated towards our content and not losing our soul in the process. You know, we have the things that we want to do, but also not losing our connection with the community that likes what we're doing. So in some ways, I would say we're figuring out what that legacy is as we make it, just like we do every day. We're kind of making it up as we go along.